She was told to use the servants' entrance, like her presence at the front door was an insult. They didn't know who she was, or who her son had become. But in less than 30 minutes, their arrogance would cost them a $900 million deal, and their reputation forever. It all began on a bright Thursday afternoon in Midtown Manhattan. The Lancaster Estate Tower, a gleaming skyscraper that symbolized old money and power, was buzzing with activity. Inside, final preparations were being made for a landmark partnership, a $900 million real estate tech merger between Haynes Tech, founded by tech mogul Malik Haynes, and the Lancaster family's luxury holdings empire. This wasn't just business, it was history in the making. Dozens of reporters, influencers, and investors filled the grand conference floor, which had been converted into a press event worthy of a Fortune 500 coronation. Everyone was smiling, shaking hands, sipping champagne, talking about how this deal would modernize luxury. Malik Haynes, the 37-year-old black billionaire, was the man of the hour. Calm, sharp, and dressed in a tailored navy suit, he stood near the press podium answering questions for CNBC. But just a few blocks away, a moment was unfolding that would flip this entire day upside down. Evelyn Haynes, Malik's 68-year-old mother, had just stepped out of her car. Dressed in an elegant powder blue dress suit and wearing pearls her son had gifted her last Christmas, she approached the building's main entrance with grace and quiet pride. She'd always told Malik to walk with dignity, no matter who stood in front of him. Today she came to watch her son sign the deal that would make him the youngest black man to lead a billion-dollar merger with an old-money dynasty. She never made it past the front door. "Ma'am, deliveries go round the back," one of the security guards barked, arms crossed over his chest. Evelyn paused. "I'm not a delivery. I'm here for the event." "You're not on the list, and we've got very specific instructions about access," he added, emphasizing the word specific with a smirk. Another guard approached. This one was younger, but twice as smug. "Back entrance. That's where the kitchen staff and vendors go." Evelyn didn't flinch. She looked them both in the eye and repeated herself, firmer this time. "I'm here for my son, Malik Haynes." The younger one let out a soft laugh. "Your son is Malik Haynes, right?" He looked her up and down, then leaned in. "Lady, don't embarrass yourself." What the guards didn't notice were the two women standing across the street. One was live-streaming the moment on Instagram. The other was already tagging racism in real time. Inside, Malik wrapped up his interview, completely unaware. But downstairs, things were escalating. Evelyn stood still, refusing to be pushed aside. She didn't yell, she didn't argue, she just stood. That's when Camilla, a 24-year-old Latina intern working the reception desk upstairs, caught sight of the confrontation on one of the lobby security monitors. Her eyes narrowed. "I know that face," she whispered to herself. She sprinted down 2 flights of stairs and burst through the lobby doors. Wait, that's Miss Haynes, Malik's mother. Let her in." The younger guard stepped in front of her. "You can't confirm guests." Camilla held up a tablet with Evelyn's name and VIP clearance. "I'm not confirming. I'm showing you the system you're supposed to be following." He looked at the screen, then at Camilla. "Still not my call." But Camilla was already recording. "Say that again. Not your call to let a black woman through the front door, even though she's a registered VIP." A small crowd had formed. Guests arriving early were slowing down. Phones were up. Even the doorman looked nervous now. Evelyn finally spoke again, calm and piercing. "You know what's interesting?" she said, her voice even. 50 years ago, I cleaned houses that looked just like this. Today I helped build one." The security guard said nothing. Camilla stepped forward, gently guiding Evelyn through the front doors. "Let's go, ma'am. You belong here." Upstairs, Malik was shaking hands with Charles Lancaster III, the patriarch of the Lancaster family. Silver hair, polished accent, legacy money. He glanced at his Rolex and smiled. "Shall we sign and celebrate?" Charles asked. That's when Camilla appeared in the doorway, breathless. "Mr. Haynes, I think you need to come downstairs." The moment Malik laid eyes on his mother's face, something shifted in the room. She was smiling, but only with her mouth, not with her eyes. "Mum, "What happened?" he asked quietly. She gently touched his wrist. "Nothing I haven't seen before, but maybe something you shouldn't have to ignore." Camilla showed him the footage, the guards, the words, the crowd, the live stream, already picking up traction online. Malik said nothing for a full 30 seconds. Then he walked back into the room, slow, deliberate. The cameras were still rolling. "Charles," Malik said, standing beside the contract on the table. "Before we sign, can I ask you something?" "Of course," Charles smiled. "What does your staff see when they look at my mother?" Charles blinked. I'm not sure I understand." "I think they see a housekeeper or a delivery driver, not a mother, not a builder, not a woman whose son you're about to shake hands with." Charles's smile faded. "If there's been a misunderstanding, I'm sure there was no misunderstanding. There was clarity, crystal clear clarity about who's welcome through your front door and who isn't." Charles stepped closer. "Malik, let's not derail a $900 million partnership over a moment of misjudgment." Malik calmly picked up the contract. "You just lost $900 million hangs over a moment of truth." And with that, he tore the agreement in half. The room went silent. Reporters gasped. Charles turned pale. Outside, Evelyn stood with Camilla, watching as a flood of people exited the building, confused, buzzing, whispering. One of the live streamers approached Evelyn. "Miss Haynes, is it true? He cancelled the deal?" Evelyn smiled gently now. "My son builds things, but he knows when something isn't worth building on broken ground." As she walked to the car with her head high, her phone buzzed. Malik had texted just one word. "Fixed." And in that moment, the whole world saw that real power isn't just about money. It's about knowing when to walk away and who you walk away for. The news broke before Malik even left the building. Black CEO cancels $900 million deal after mother racially profiled at entrance. Caught on camera, security guards block VIP guest face backlash. $1 billion backlash. Haynes Tech ends partnership with Lancaster Group. Within an hour, the footage was viral. Camilla's video, paired with the live stream from across the street, painted a clear and irrefutable picture. Racial profiling, classist arrogance, and a corporate culture unwilling to confront either. The hashtags Schumer Front Door Justice and Schumer She Is My Mother trended for the rest of the day. Inside the Lancaster boardroom, panic erupted. Executives scrambled to craft statements. Lawyers huddled in corners. Charles Lancaster III paced by the window, gripping a tumbler of scotch he hadn't even realized he poured. Meanwhile, Malik was silent. He rode the elevator down with his mother and Camilla. His phone buzzed every 3 seconds with media requests, shareholder texts, even celebrity endorsements. "You okay?" Camilla asked him nervously. "I'm not angry," Malik replied. "I'm just done pretending we can buy respect. We shouldn't have to earn basic human dignity." Outside, the crowd had doubled. Protesters and supporters had already begun gathering. People who didn't even know Evelyn's name were holding signs that read, "Let our mothers through the front door." "She raised a billionaire. You raised a barrier." A reporter called out, "Mr. Haynes, is it true you cancelled the deal just because of what happened at the door?" He stopped, looked at the reporter. "No," he said. "I cancelled it because of everything that led to what happened at the door." And that was the quote that would circle the globe. But the story didn't end there. The next day, Evelyn sat at home, watching the coverage on TV with a quiet kind of disbelief. She had never wanted the spotlight, never asked for attention. She just wanted to support her son. But the world had different plans. Media vans lined the street outside her townhouse in Harlem. Local students had written her letters. Civil rights leaders had quoted her final words. "He builds, but not on broken ground like scripture." She was overwhelmed, and yet composed. "Mom," Malik said gently, walking in with 2 cups of tea. "You okay?" She smiled at him. "You were raised to stand up for yourself. I just never expected the whole world to watch you do it." He chuckled. "Neither did I." Just then, Camilla texted. A screenshot. An emergency press release from the Lancaster Group. "Effective immediately, Lancaster Holdings terminates all staff involved in the discriminatory incident. We apologize to Ms. Evelyn Haynes and Mr. Malik Haynes. We remain committed to equity and inclusion. Malik showed his mother the screen. She barely glanced at it. They're not sorry, they're exposed, she said. There's a difference. 2 weeks later, Malik held a surprise press conference, not to address the cancelled deal, but to announce a new initiative. The Front Door Foundation, a grant and mentorship program for minority entrepreneurs and professionals from underrepresented backgrounds, especially those with immigrant parents or working-class roots. The opening ceremony was held not in a boardroom, but on the steps of a community center in the Bronx. No red carpet, no luxury towers, just real people. Camilla stood beside him, now promoted to full-time executive assistant. Reporters asked him, "Why not find another deal?" Malik responded without missing a beat. "We will. But first we build something that makes space for people like my mom to walk in the front door without being questioned. That's more valuable than any merger." Evelyn was seated in the front row. This time, no one stopped her. No one questioned her presence. No one doubted who she was. But the moment that stole everyone's breath came at the very end. As Malik stepped down from the podium, a young black boy, maybe 11, maybe 12, walked up to him, nervous but determined. He wore a backpack too big for his frame and clutched a drawing in his hand. "I saw you on TikTok," he said, voice trembling. "My grandma's a cleaner. I drew this for you." He handed Malik a picture. A woman in pearls, standing in front of a tall glass building with a sign that said, "Mom's welcome here." Malik knelt, eye level with the boy. "Thank you," he said. "What's your name?" "Jordan." "Well, Jordan, one day you're going to build something even bigger, and when you do, promise me you'll always leave the front door open." The boy nodded, and everyone watching, live online and around the world, felt something shift. Because this wasn't just about racism or classism or a deal gone wrong. It was about a door, and who we decide is worthy of walking through it.